What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Real Talk NFT, where we talk all things Web3. You guys know my co-host, Brian. Today, super excited to have on a guest from a very, very exciting community. Chris, I'm not even going to say your last name because it's really tough. I saw it, on the speakers list for, Ordinals Lisbon, which I'll let you talk about. But how do you say your last name, Chris? I just call you Chris Coffee.
It's Verswyveld. I just kind of got stuck with it. It's not even my bloodline. My dad was adopted, and my name is the same size as the alphabet. Like if you spell out the alphabet and you spell out my name, it's the exact same character count.
Wow. Okay, I'm not even going to attempt that. But Chris wears many hats in the Web3 world. Pizza Ninjas is how we know each other. And I believe you're head of marketing over there for Ninja Alerts. Also, you did some stuff with, editorial work as well as having a very successful YouTube channel and being, amongst a lot of great projects in Web3. So welcome to the show.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me. I'm super excited.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you this. I was fortunate enough to join Pizza Ninjas because of your YouTube stream, actually. When you talked about NFT NYC, I just found the vibe super cool. And, 2-3 weeks now in Pizza Ninjas throughout the Haven, it's been something super exciting. And I've been in the space for a long time. You've been in the space for a long time, so you can probably attest to, why Pizza Ninjas is such a great community. But I was very curious, how'd you get involved into Ninjas, and maybe even before then, how you got involved with Web3?
Yeah, man. It's a long story. I'll try to give the short version. I was trading stocks. I was late to stocks too. I bought some stocks here and there. And then during the COVID crash, I really had more time on my hands because I also own a coffee shop. That's my one of my IRL things. And obviously that stunted my business the year 2020. So I got into stock trading, and I've always liked content since I was a kid. When I was in my I was probably 10 or 12 ish. That's when YouTube, people started doing YouTube content. It wasn't about monetization or anything like that at the time. It was just pure entertainment, Smosh, style, silly videos or whatever. So full circle. I stream video games, made different styles of content since I was a kid. But when I started trading stocks, I was I want to start making content around this because there's not a lot of good people making content around this. And there was Andre Jick was still doing it at the time. Graham Stephan, Meet Kevin really wasn't even around yet. Jeremy, let's talk a bunch of bigger people now. At the time, they're kind of growing. So I started doing content around that. Long story short, I got involved with the GME movement. I got into GME at GameStop at $18 a share. Rode it all the way up to, I think I sold a large percentage of my bag at $350 a share. And then rode the rest for the culture, all the way up and all the way back down, which I'm fine with. I profited really well off of GameStop. Nice. So really well, relatively. I'm a coffee shop owner. There's not a lot of revenue in coffee or whatever. I have a family. Now I have a family. So relative for me. So I use that money that I made on GameStop and really felt the adrenaline, the culture, the degenerative style of the space. And I kind of got into crypto around that same time. So I used that money I made from GameStop through the entire thing into crypto and started trading, buying. So got into VV at the time. It was NBA Top Shot and VV at that time were two of the biggest Web 2 to Web 3 onboarding experiences. And I landed on VV just because I'm not, ironically, me and Brian were talking about his Jordans in the background. I'm not as big into basketball as I am nerd, DC, Marvel, and that type of stuff. So I found out that there was an underlying token of VV. And anyways, I went from there to ETH NFTs to everywhere else. Did start doing the same, start making content around it, because I realized a lot of these people at this time, they were really smart because they were at crypto early. And I noticed a lot of really smart people have trouble really breaking it down to the building blocks of they skip steps. They'll be just transfer this from your wallet and do this. And then I'm sitting here what do you mean? How do you start the wallet? Right. What's the seed phrase? Why, what if I type in the address for, I don't know, just little stuff they skip over. So I was I'm going to start doing stuff where I don't skip it over. So I started doing how to buy videos, how to transfer, how to do all these things to where I every step that at my mid-curve mind would be stuck on, I would try to get it out for everybody else. Instead of again, at the time, there's a lot of smarter people just skipping a bunch of these steps. all in all, started doing that a lot, and eventually started doing interviews in Web3 space. Interviewed a lot of artists, a lot of projects. Eventually, I interviewed Trevor at TO.
Nice.
He really liked our interview. That's the founder of Pizza Ninjas. He's also the founder of Bitcoin Frontier Fund. Which, if you're a Ninja holder and you don't know this, it's not talked about a lot because I don't think Trevor really likes to flex it. But we invested in over 50 plus startups.
Nice.
Building on Bitcoin, DeFi specifically. We really push towards that. Lots of stacks accelerators. So we have access to a lot of those. Like, how do you think we got in with the Ordinals airdrop for the Trio token? And there's so many, early investor to Xverse, early investor to Alex Labs, early investor to like some of these like Sat Screener, Magic, like some of these like huge, protocols. But rewinding to that, I interviewed Trevor. He liked our interview so much, he took me on board. Started making content for him for Ninja Alerts because we were an ETH project. We still are an ETH project. We have a trading tool on Ethereum that allows you to track wallets on using push notifications from your phone or your desktop. When your friends or Wells or Smart Money trades, you get like push notifications sent to you. It's the fastest push notifications out there that are available. And started making content on that, and basically been a part of Ninja Alerts since the ETH project, all the way to when Ordinals became a thing, and all the way till now. So I've actually been with Ninja Alerts to some capacity for over 2 years.
Wow, I didn't know the deep history of Pizza Ninjas. Brian was actually the one that introduced me to Pizza Ninjas before the mint.
Hey.
And surprisingly,
I'm the only one that doesn't own one here as well, which gives me major FOMO. Just calling that out. I loved the project when it was originally released. Absolutely loved it. I was like, this looks good, and didn't scoop it. Joe ends up buying, and now I'll be on board soon.
Yeah, you got it. We're gonna get them on board before the eggs come out. We're trying to dig some information out of Chris, later on. But going back to the history a little bit, can you dig deeper? Just like an inch deep for our audience. Ethereum. I saw that the alerts were on Ethereum. I didn't know there was a project there, or maybe. How did you and or TO migrate over to the Ordinals?
Yeah, so the Ethereum is an ER. My gosh, I have been so away from ETH for so long. ER 721 token. So it wasn't like a profile. It wasn't a PFP style. It was more so token gated trading experience. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it offered a lot of other perks too, but the main thing was, and this is really easy to explain to people that are onboarding to Web 2, like, we always viewed it, and even before this was a thing, of like, how do we do memberships differently, like in Web3? And we're saying this in 2024 is probably like, well, that's obvious. But just to like recap, back then, 2022, it was kind of like, well, what if we gave like a monthly or annual subscription model, but instead of paying for that monthly or annual subscription, which you can if you want to, if you just own this token, that would grant you access to the subscription. And then at any given point, if you didn't want the subscription anymore, you just sell the token. Right. And then to top that off, like, what if this token also had other perks besides that to incentivize the token? So essentially, it's like a lower risk entry to like a trading tool that you were already possibly going to pay for. If you're already willing to pay $100 a month for this tool, I'm throwing out numbers. This isn't accurate. Maybe you wanted to do an annual for $1,200. Or you could just buy the NFT maybe for like an $800 discount. And at any given point, you can, if you look at the history of it, you can kind of sell it, above, a little above that, a little below that. Either way, the main point was you got access to the tool, you got most of your money back, and you got perks along the way. And so to answer your question on how to bridge to Ordinals, we essentially, the Ethereum is for Ethereum, and the Ordinals is for Ordinals. So it wasn't necessarily we took all of our users. While we did give them first chance, all the like original, like, hey, this is where we're going, constant updates, and a lot of them in the Discord like did end up getting a Ninja as well. It wasn't necessarily like a add-on collection to the Ethereum collection. Pizza Ninjas is pretty separate. I would view Ninja Alerts as like the father company, and Pizza Ninjas as like one of the companies under that father company. So we're gonna have a tool for Ordinals as well. It's already in beta. You can actually already use it, Joe, because you can use it. Here's some alpha for you, Brian. I don't know if it's out already, but I know that the Prophecy got early beta access as well, and it was like that's a really cheap. It's like under $100 entry fee to the Prophecy, and it was basically one of our generative arts of Leonidas's Ninja, and they got early access as well. And yeah, the beta is already live for you to try out. So
cool. Well, yeah, I love what Ninja's offering in terms of not just, I don't really view it as an NFT project. I know we talked about this on the last stream we did together. It's more like a mastermind, but also a software company, right? That you mentioned. So that's super cool, a little bit different, or a lot different, I would say. Can we squeeze some alpha out of you for the eggs? Like, we know that's coming out. We don't know when. We don't know, anything details about it. We just know it's an egg that's going to be super cool.
Yeah, man. I'm so surprised there's not more leaks right now, because like we did give alpha in New York City to our, we went on the pizza tour. We took our holders to some of the best pizzerias in New York City, their best pizza, wine that paired with it, or whatever other drink they had with it, which adds up, man. I'm from the South, so we like drink a decent amount around here. But once you start like piling pizza and wine, like stop after stop, it catches up with you. But there's a lot of alpha, released at the end of that. I don't really know what I'm allowed to say. I know what was already said was that basically every Pizza Ninja is going to get one. Please double verify with Trevor's recent tweet like 2 days ago. And we also partnered with Megapunks because they're involved with it as well. Now, I'm not too sure if Megapunks is necessarily 1-to-1. I think that it might be raffle style for Megapunks, but I also don't like entirely remember. And let me kind of glance. I don't like giving stuff that Trevor hasn't revealed yet, but I obviously want to leave you guys with a little something. It's basically like we're creating something really unique on Bitcoin ordinals. I'm looking at Trevor's message right now just to see what he said about it. What did he say? He said, we're working on something that doesn't break people's browsers. So I guess the alpha, I would say, is still going to be kind of cryptic. But one thing that Pizza Ninjas has really done since the beginning with, I don't know if you know this, we have an 88-page Git book just on Pizza Ninjas. And we really try to stretch the boundaries of like what's possible on ordinals that it's either not possible on ETH, or let's just say it would be really hard to pull off. It just wouldn't make sense to try it on ETH. And that's what we're constantly trying to do. So this is like a new layer of that, of trying to make a new like system, something that's fun to interact with and enjoyable, and pushing the limits of kind of what we've seen so far on what's possible with ordinals.
Nice. Brian loves eggs. Him and Saku Monsters is like best friends.
You still clicking real quick? Yeah, gotta get the.
This is like the third podcast in a row we've talked about Saku Monsters, because I became a little obsessed with that egg and hatching these monsters, and I did unhatch a legendary over the week.
Heyo.
And I believe it's worth around 10 sol.
Wow.
I'm not really sure. I don't really sell a lot of NFTs. I'm a big holder of them. Big round tripper.
I love that. Yeah, I have the app. I actually ironically got it in Denver because that's kind of when I first heard about Saku Monsters. It just bugged a lot. Like I would click it and it like wouldn't do anything, and kind of like lost track of it. I still have like a bunch of points, so I guess we'll see if those like turn into anything. But yeah, I have some friends that are really into it.
Yeah, it's a fun little game. I mean, anything that gets you engaged. And I said on the last podcast we were talking about it, I found myself after I clicked the egg the second time, I'd find myself later in the day. Did I click my egg yet? Going into the app, clicking that egg. So a lot of fun. But whenever Joe sent me the information that Trevor released about this egg, and he's like, "I know you love eggs," and I was like, "Oh, I need a ninja more than ever," because I've been talking about it probably longer than I should, but. Love the project, love the art. My youngest son is a huge Ninja Turtle fan. So whenever I did a call with our private community about Pizza Ninjas, like before even the drop, I was like, this is one of the hottest projects. Went through the Git book you're talking about, really knew all about the project, and he loved it. And I was like, buddy, we're going to get one of these Ninja Turtle ones. We're going to get one of the turtle ones. And I kind of lost track of it with, everything else I've been buying. It's going on, but I don't know.
Man, that's a bummer.
Yeah, I'll be back. No worries. I see the long-term plan, and Joe talks about the community and how great it is. And one thing I love about ninjas, and this is not financial advice for anybody to go out and buy it. You do what you want, but I love how they pop. Every time I see them like on Spaces or in Discords, I just can see that PFP from a mile away. And I don't even look at it as a PFP project, but very, very well designed.
Yeah, we love Boozy. That's our artist. Was also a big artist on Stacks, and yeah, I think the Ninjas is probably some of the best art on ordinals in my opinion. I'm a little biased. Somebody actually recently, you probably see this in the background. They like 3D printed and hand painted my Ninja. That was really nice of them. That was really cool. I'm obviously a big collector, so that was pretty sweet.
That's
Nice.
awesome. What are some other ordinal projects you're into or you have your eye on? Just curious about how your feelings are about the NFT world of ordinals, and talk a little bit about the runes protocol.
Yeah. I'm in a lot of different projects. It's hard off the top of my head. I'm not in puppets, but I love puppets. I wish I wouldn't have faded them so early. I am gonna buy some pups token now that the market like kind of crashed.
Yeah.
I'm like over leveraged in runes right now, but I'm okay with that. I own a lot of runes. Basically the top like 5, all of those and some like random ones. I'm involved with Oni Force. There, I really like Star Lordy. I think he did a good job at like really taking on the project Oni like on his back. And, at one of the worst times, really turned it around. I'm in that for the long call. Man, I feel like there's some out there that like I'm in a lot. I just like on top of my head, I'm like, oh, let's see.
Put you on the spot. Well, before we even all got on, Joe and I were kind of chatting. I was like, I really see there's like a top set of Bitcoin ordinal projects right now, and there's quite a few. But you can always talk like puppets and node monkeys and quantum cats and ninjas and OMB. Those definitely feel like the top 5 in my mind. But a lot of great projects releasing out there every single day and huge opportunities.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a few that I'm like looking at that I've been looking at for a while. I really like honey badgers. I don't own any, but that was like arguably like you can kind of argue the same narrative as Node Monks on that. Basically, they started inscribing their 10K. They started inscribing before Node Monks, but they only did the first 7,000, and so Node Monks then minted their 10,000, and then honey badgers finished the remaining 3. But I definitely think there's a narrative around that as well. So they're fairly cheap. I don't own any. Yeah, I don't know. I like. There's a lot of them out there.
That's an interesting call. I remember that because Megapunks. Correct me if I'm wrong. Megapunks was like they claimed to be the first 10,000K inscription, but they were a migration, if I remember correctly.
There's so many narratives. Yeah,
and then honey badgers. I always kind of had an eye on that project, and they like stopped them. It was supposed to be 10,000. They stopped it at 7. Correct.
And they finished later. Yeah, they finished later.
Yeah, they readdressed it, and then in between finishing later, Node Monkeys came in and just released 10,000.
Yes, and then also the one that we haven't mentioned was the Bitcoin Punks were 10K as well before all of that almost, but a lot of people exclude them because it's not original art.
Right.
And then people also argue they're the first 10K. Ordinals in general are the first 10K collection. So yeah, there's a ton of narratives there. I do think like in that, like what we just talked about, probably Node Monks would still get the W, but it's definitely like a kind of a weird, there's so many things going on, but exactly what you said about Megapunks. They were there before Node Monks and Honey Badgers, but they were already a Stacks native collection that like bridged over. So some people don't count that either. I don't know. I had 2 Megapunks as well. Ready for some eggs.
These honey badgers are fun. I used to play on a hockey team in Philadelphia for years, and we were the honey badgers. Kind of hitting me a little bit close to home. I might get some pizza ninjas and badgers. Again, not financial advice. I'm just here degenning live on air.
Do you got any ordinals, like any known projects right now?
I do personally. Yeah, I have a Node Monkey that I have and kind of been riding the wave, watched it all the way up to 0.8, all the way back down to 0.3. Now, riding the wave with it. I'm bullish on ordinals overall. I think a lot of us are. Joe and I talk about this all the time. I was such an ETH maxi with NFTs for so long. And if you told me a year ago, 2 years ago, that ETH NFTs were going to be depegged or kind of knocked off this pedestal, I would be like, I just don't see how. What's going to take over Polygon? This completely everything changed my mind in about a week time. How fast things go. Now I love ordinals. I love the base network. I kind of flirt around with Solana quite a bit. So we were talking before the podcast that we all have a lot of NFTs across a lot of blockchains. And I see a path for a lot of them to succeed as well. And a lot will fizzle out, and we all know that. But for my ordinals collection, probably Node Monkeys is the most notable and one that I'm gonna ride it until it's worth a few Bitcoin.
Do you use Liquidium at all?
No, I don't. I'm familiar, but no, I don't use it.
It would be good with a Node Monk, man, if you ever need it. Because like, you know, it allows you to use your ordinal as collateral. So I don't know exactly what the Node Monk's worth right now, but let's say it's worth 0.3. You could probably take out like 0.2 something Bitcoin, and just within 16 days, you just got to pay it back. But you use your Node Monk as collateral. So I mean, that's basically somebody like handing you what, 15 grand, 20 grand. Mm-hmm. And you're telling yourself like, can I use this 20 grand to make like my interest back in 16 days plus some? And a lot of scenarios you should, you know, like you should, you know, you should be able to do that. You know, you're probably paying a couple $100s in interest. But yeah, I've done that with my Ninja on several occasions. I provided liquidity for Liquidium, and it all farms airdrop points too for Liquidium's token that they have coming out. So definitely, if you have like a higher valued ordinal, you can do the same with yours, Joe, with your Ninja. I'll probably even be the one providing liquidity. It's like a superpower, man. Especially for those like high valued ordinals.
I love it.
Yeah, I messed around a little bit with ETH lending for quite a while, like with like NFTFI and all of that, and did pretty well. Now I did lend out some NFTs kind of in the high point. I think they were friendship bracelets at the time, like
oh yeah, I remember
30,
those.
40 of them, and I was getting good money. And I ended up defaulting. My apologies for whoever gave me the lend. I ended up defaulting on them because they corrected and crashed. And I was like, oh, I'm not able to save these right now.
Yeah.
But I still have a massive bag of friendship bracelets, and I like the project. But, you know, I have some experience. But I'll definitely take a look. Appreciate it.
Yeah, degen world. I mean, I love degening, and if you give me more options to do that, I'm afraid of what I'm gonna do. So I want to dive back to, or flip the page to runes really quickly, because that's something still hot and fresh in my opinion. I mean, it's only been like 2 weeks, not even 3 weeks now. And let's start off with ninjas, because they've been kind of mum about number 14, the runes. If most people don't know, number 14 is the pizza rune. I'm gonna let Chris talk about it to see if we could squeeze any more alpha out of that, because we don't know any details about that at all.
Man, I don't know any details about that at all. So number 14 is bullish Bitcoin Pizza Ninjas. And that's honestly like up Trevor's sleeve, because like it's really not like I haven't heard exactly what he's going to do with it. I'm sure that's intentional too. He's probably like either has it figured out and then he's going to like tell everybody later or something. But I mean, obviously it's there. It's in the top 15. We paid to be in the top 15. That's how runes work. Basically, those top tickers, people paid a premium to be one of those first for provenance. And so there's going to be something very special along with it. I don't really have any more alpha to give to that one. Ironically, number 15 is also pizza delivery, and that was not associated with us. And I actually just did research and a write-up on that one. I bought like $1,000 worth of the BRC20 this week. It probably crashed since I bought, because the whole market crashed, and I bought like at the beginning of the week. But basically, the BRC20 is going to get airdropped the runes, and it has a it has a ordinal collection as well called Pizza Rune. If you had a Ninja for a while, you actually got airdropped one of these as well. But the BRC20 gets a higher allocation than the Pizza Rune. Pizza Rune gets like a much smaller percent. It's like 10% of the supply or something. So I did all the math, and basically you get like 46% more by buying the BRC20 and holding that. Than you would holding the ordinal. Now, the ordinal could offer other perks. Maybe it qualifies you for other airdrops. Maybe they do something else with it. I don't know. But I went ahead and just bought the BRC20 speculating on that. And I did all the market cap calculations, and I'll get the TLDR on this. But basically, like if it's under, it probably dropped dramatically since I did these calculations as well, which is a good thing. But basically, at the time I did the calculations, it was like, if this thing is above a $19 million market cap, I would be in profit. If it's below a $19 million market cap, I would not be in profit. And this was, again, before the drop. But out of the 15 top rune tickers, that have been distributed, not one was even close to under a $20 million market cap at that time. So to me, it was like almost a no-brainer because it's like, most of these are like 50 plus. I think there's one that was like 30 and it's like Pizza, P-I-Z-A. I thought that was a pretty good ticker anyways. But yeah, that's one that I bought I bought in a couple of runes this week, like right before the huge crash. But granted, runes have actually been like holding pretty strong despite like the rest of the market.
Yeah, I'm not fading anyone that rode GME all the way to $300 something off of $31 buy-in or whatever it was. And I told this to Brian and a lot of people. I thought GME was the first meme coin ever. Like they kind of started the wave of meme coinery, if that's the word for it. And I wanted your expertise and opinion because you've been around the block since the first meme coin, GameStop, and then Solana has actual GameStop meme coin that popped for a little while. So with all that experience in meme coin, and actual real life stocks, taking profit and going through cycles and seeing this, what's your kind of thoughts on NFT projects launching? I wouldn't even call them meme coins because a lot of these NFT projects are like, oh, you get a rune allocation. But I'm like, nope, you're not really a meme coin. You're kind of like a utility token like Prometheans. And some people think like Prometheans, for example, 100 million market cap seems really low. I mean, it is low for a meme coin, but if it's just a utility token, then it might be just right on the money, right? So like, I know there's a lot of questions in there because I'm trying to formulate a thesis, but it's kind of all just kind of hodgepodging together. And I'm not making much sense of it right now.
Yeah, that one's particularly hard because it's like they're not really like ordinal native. I think they did a good job entering ordinals because like they gave a bunch of like higher end projects like free airdrops to their Prometheans, some allocations to just the token, and really just paid $500,000 for rune ticker number 2, which if we're talking about market caps, like you have to consider in provenance. It might not matter. It really might not, but on the other hand of that, it might matter. It mattered for ordinals. I faded. You guys are going to appreciate this like sequence of events because you've been around the block. It mattered for ordinals. I faded, first 10K, and like the cheapest you can get like sub 10K right now is like 0.06, which is like, that you could literally inscribe as many as you wanted to for like a couple weeks. I faded number ENSs, like the 183.eth or whatever. I was like, that's a stupid narrative. You're killing your brand by naming yourself 482.eth. I will never remember you. They went up to like tons of ETH, I faded all the way back to VV. I faded like low mint numbers, which ended up kind of, being controversial, but like, they would basically like, be 3-digit mint numbers, whatever. So apparently people in these types of fields care about these narratives. So my thoughts with the runes is like, I'm kind of betting on that narrative as well. So even if it's not a meme coin and it's like a utility token or whatever, I'm honestly hope that provenance alone might be enough. And as far as like an already established project releasing like a meme coin, it really just depends. I mean, I know CyberKong says like whether it has mematic themes or something like that. I guess they're trying to say like you can use it as a meme, but we're also going to integrate it into our ecosystem. So they're kind of playing that safe. I feel like you could run with it if you want to, but also this is going to be something that we're going to implement. They did well with banana token. I mean, people obviously, you can always look at charts and it's like, oh, it's down now. But at the time, I mean, CyberKongs were like hundreds of ETH. And the token was generating like hundreds of dollars a day. That's why people were buying them at these insane prices. Was it sustainable? No. Did they pull it off? Yes. CyberKongs are still at 11.5 ETH floor. There's like low volume there, but I mean that's they survived to an extent. They're still around to throw $500 million at a new protocol. So $500,000 at a new protocol. All that being said, I don't know. For established projects launching meme coins, I do like the idea of meme coins just being memes, like not trying to create like utility, not trying to create like a narrative necessarily. Like I think Leonidas has done a really good job with Dog. Basically, like he talks about it a lot, but he's just kind of a member of the community that talks about it. He's kind of like, look, if you guys want to make a Twitter for it, make a Twitter for it. If you want to make a whatever for it, do it. He's like, I'm not attached to this. I'm not like making any plans. Like this is just what it is. Let it be. And so as far as meme coins go, I kind of would rather that instead of like underlying like utility for it. I do kind of feel like you got to pick one or the other.
Yeah, if you told me 2.5 years ago when I started down this track NFTs that I'll be on a podcast trying to make sense of meme coins, I wouldn't even know what to say. But here we are.
Here we are. Yeah.
Do you speculate on any other meme coins on like Solana, because it's such a big ecosystem? It's like the meme coin casino. Curious your thoughts there.
Yeah, so I just made a video on my YouTube yesterday on I picked 7 different tokens from 5 different chains, and
Nice.
that I'm speculating on. And my Solana pick is actually a very low market cap. I don't even know if you guys have heard it. It's a $5 million market cap. It's called Abel. It's like AABL. And dude, I have loved this project since sub 1 million. Like I got in sub 1 million. I immediately realized that they were just like bosses at marketing. Like
Nice.
it plays off of Apple, of course. There's like Steve Jobs or whatever, and they have like Apple Vision Pros, which is like this Apple Vision Pro that has like a crypto chart. They have Apple watches. They talk about like their what's it called, their earning reports and stuff like that. But they're actually like their marketing's really good. And they also just added this the 404s. They were actually the first Sol meme coin to integrate 404s. I'm sure you guys are familiar with what that is, but I guess just like a brief explainer is you're basically able to swap in and swap out your token for an NFT and then your NFT for a token without selling it. You can swap it. Now, Solana is not EVM compatible, so it's not like you can actually do this through a smart contract like you would be able to on Ethereum. You actually have to like go to their site, and it's kind of more manual than like what Ethereum would be. Because Ethereum, the hope for 404 is if you own like a full token, then this thing can be an NFT. And as soon as you don't own that full token, it won't be an NFT anymore. So this is slightly different, but still the fact that they integrated that and kind of seeing the possibilities with that was kind of bullish to me. I forgot what they called it. It's like SP404 or something. Yeah, Abel would be my Solana pick. Nice. I'm in a lot. I did really good on I didn't put enough in. It was probably my biggest win ever, but I only put like 0.2 Sol in. It was Andrew Tate, like playing with Andrew Tate. Dude, I got like a 2,000%. I turned like 0.2 whatever Sol into like, I don't know, whatever 2,000% of that was, but I got like 5 Sol out of it or something like that. I did pretty good on that one. Yeah. And then I got blocked by him. Yeah, for it.
You had me at $5 million market cap. I'm a sucker for those low market cap coins. It makes I never felt more alive when I see those green candles and it's like we're a $30 million market cap. It's awesome. But
it did hit like 40. So it was like it went from 1, and then like I actually took a lot of profits. Like I took 25. I kind of went with the strategy of taking 25% profits every like 2x, starting at like 10 million. So I took like some at 10 million, some at 20, some at like 30 something. So, but I still have like an enormous amount of Abel because I bought like at like, 1 million or something like that. So yeah,
I love the name. I love the name.
I know.
I'm in San Francisco Bay Area, so I'm just like I'm laughing because that's all the narrative, Apple and Provision.
Well, it's also got. I swear I'm gonna stop talking about this. Just one more thing. This is not even just for Apple. This is for general. You see Mog a lot. It's a pretty good one too, like the Mog glasses. I feel like any meme coin that's able to integrate into people's PFPs without them changing their PFPs is a win. So like I actually had the Apple Vision Pro on my Ninja for the longest time. I said that if it broke a $30 million market cap, I'd put it on there, and I did. And so, nice. But I've seen a lot of people do that. And the same thing with Mog glasses. They put the Mog glasses on their PFPs, and I think it's really funny. So if you can kind of be a crypto project and like integrate or a meme coin and kind of integrate into people's PFPs, I think that's a win.
Nice.
Social capital.
Wow. So where do we go from here? We really tried to get all the info we could out of Yada Ninjas, but how about you, Chris? What's the next, how do we end 2024? What's the playbook? And tell us what's going to happen in this next year in crypto, please. You're the prophet.
Oh man, who knows? I know these next few weeks are going to be pivotal. I see people that I trust saying that Bitcoin's going to like 40 something K, which like is not out of the equation. But if you look at the last few cycles, like 2020, 2016, we had like a pretty strong dip right after the halving and then broke previous all-time highs. Now it's just like there's so much in play for that, man. Because like we also had the ETF this year. So we had like an insane push, like pre-halving. So we couldn't factor that into the same cycles as we had the previous times. And right now we're seeing the outflows of those ETFs be pretty brutal. I think it was like $500 million in outflows the last like few days, which is bad. Now, inverse to that, there's a lot of good news too. Like the Hong Kong predictions for the ETFs Monday, there's the original reports came out saying that there's only like $11 million in inflows. I'm seeing more and more that those reports were false. It was actually like upwards of 200 million. That's a big difference. So it seemed like Hong Kong was kind of like lackluster. Like, maybe they didn't buy as much as we thought, but maybe they did. And we're just not kind of figuring that out and seeing that. And then, you saw that the Fed meetings were pushed back a little bit. That kind of saved us from like free falling yesterday. There's just so much going on that like, there's so much like uncertain data right now. Like we're in the midst of like a bumpy financial crisis year, just in general, like with like unknown war, election year, like so much like macro stuff going on. And then we've seen things we've never seen, like ETFs. In just a few weeks, we should have the Ethereum ETF. The deadline is May 23rd. So I'm kind of bullish on ETH if things do pick back up. I think it's kind of been lacking behind the Bitcoin push. I don't really know what the peg is right now, but really, I'm still bullish on ETH. And yeah, man, could go up, could go down. I think if we do break out, like we're going to see new all-time highs. I think that some of these altcoins are going to go crazy. I'm super heavy like in the market right now. Like I'm probably more leveraged than I ever have been. If we go back down to the 40 something K range, I'll probably still be buying. And still kind of feeling not good. It's like you expect it, but when it happens, you're still kind of like, I don't feel good right now. But I'll still be DCAing. I got USDC that I cashed out exactly for this moment, is to DCA some like things that I want exposure to. I'll still be buying and just hoping a push to new all-time highs and hoping for the best and hoping that we don't see sub 40s.
Yeah, man. I did not know all the macro that was. I mean, I do some of it, but all that macro stuff definitely affects everything. So a lot of people just look at analytical, and you can't really do that. You got to look at fundamental news also.
Yeah, I'm not very good at TA, and like I always like convince myself I'm gonna try it, and I just get wrecked. I try it, and I'm just like sitting here doing TA on like a 5-minute meme coin chart, and I'm just like, I'm bad at this. Like I just need to like know the fundamentals, and I do. So I do a lot more swing trading, and I do a lot more just like buying and holding. I was day trading some Solana memes for a while. Like we all have like our own little bots that we use. Some people use Photon. I use a lot of Unibot. Or whatever, and I would just spend way too much time, but like it kind of like killed my like brain cells for a couple of weeks. So I kind of chilled out with that for a bit and just ended up buying some things that I'm okay with like holding on for a while.
I lived on Photon for a few weeks there with like the new tickers popping up and these like $50,000, $100,000 market caps. I actually did okay. I got out of there unscathed, but some big losses and some big wins, but I don't miss those days.
Yeah, I kind of got out of there unscathed, but I basically decided to park my money in meme coins when I went to New York, opposed to like park it in Solana, and I came back and I was like wrecked. And I picked like safer meme coins, but yeah, I still got wrecked.
Man, I can't imagine our conversation how it's going to be 5-6 months from now, because this stuff moves so fast, right? We would love to have you back. We could probably talk for another hour about different platforms like Base and like which me and Brian are heavy in, and yeah, there's so much. We would love to have you back to talk about things. But until then, how do people find you? How do they buy your coffee?
Yeah, and, for sure.
Everything else. Hey,
I got one comment about Base. I have a pre-sale that's supposed to be dropping, but of course it's dropping like when the market is like wrecked. I like sent like 0.2 ETH for brainworms like a month ago. And it was supposed to come like the middle of April, and we're in May, so that's fun. I love Base. It's a degeneracy, and it's like very cheap fees. So I'm Chris Coffee on YouTube, and Chris Coffee ETH on Twitter. And that's where I do like YouTube. I try to just keep like an organized level of content that's like higher end explanation videos. Basically, like I go through kind of that macro that I just talked about. I go through all the boring stuff, and then I'm just like, here's 5 tokens that are going to 10x, and I talk about the degenerative stuff. So it's kind of like look, I'll give you the juice that you want, but you got to listen to me first on like why things are doing what they're doing right now, to like try to give like a little bit of education in there as well. And then I post on Twitter like way too much. I'm on Twitter all the time. And yeah, and then of course like in the Ninja Discord and on Spaces, all those things. My coffee, I have, you can buy my coffee at hiddengroundsla.com. That's my coffee shop.
Nice.
But I'm still trying. I'm going to have some Ninja bags. So it's going to have my Ninja on them. It's going to be bright orange. And it's going to have its own like roasting profiles that I'm going to do. So I'm still going to do that. I just haven't yet. And I still need to beef up my site because like right now it's like not even worth the time yield for me to like leave my office, roast, then go ship coffee, to somebody who's buying unless they're buying in bulk. So I actually don't even promote my own coffee that much unless it's like a coffee lover that just wants a bag. Then I'm like, okay, sure. Like it's fine. But yeah, I mean, as you know, right now, like if you're away from your setup, you're like losing money. Like so it's kind of like, I need a better system. I have a backup coffee roaster now. I have a good manager at my shop. I have like everything kind of moving on its own pace. I'm still the one that like usually like, micromanages and chips and all that fun stuff.
Love it. I love that it's still there. I'm at the site now. It looks pretty nice, actually. So, man, super exciting combo we just had, and I'm fascinated about the meme coins besides Abo that we're going to talk about next time. So, love to have you back here, just like we said, and thank you for coming on, Chris.
Yeah, of course. Anytime, guys. Just let me know.
Awesome.